Hey, I'm here at the Band Gig School of Music, and I'm going to teach you all about the major scale. It is super easy, and especially the way that I explain it, you will love it. So, Band Gig School of Music, let's go inside and get to work. Music's made up of notes, and notes are given letter names, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it repeats. So on this piano, if we looked at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, repeating. Those are the white keys. The black keys are the notes in between some of the letter notes, and they're sharps and flats. Okay, so we have C, we have C sharp, then we have D, then between D and E we have D sharp or E flat. It depends, the context whether you use sharps or flats. So at any rate, C, D, E with the sharps and flats between them there. E and F, there's no sharp or flat between it. And B and C, there's no sharp or flat between B and C. All the other ones have a note between them, and going one note is a half step. So going a half step up from C is C sharp. Another half step is D. So from C to C sharp is a half step, C sharp to D is a half step, so C to D is a full step. One whole step, two halves. So, like I said, between E and F, there's no sharp or flat. E and F are a half step apart, and B and C are a half step apart. All the other notes are a full step. C to D, there's that note in between, the half step in between, so it's a full step. So let's move on to the dry erase board. Hi, now I'm a professor. So since we just talked about the whole and half steps, we now understand what that is. Okay, on a piano, it's the keys, each individual key is a half step. Jumping up two half steps is a whole step. On a guitar, a half step is one fret up on the same string. On different instruments, it's different things, different valves, different holes covered up, different, whatever for that instrument. But it's still a half step is still from C to C sharp is a half step. From C sharp to D is a half step. From C to D is a half and a half. Two halves, of course, making a whole step. So now that we understand that, we get to the major scale. And this is where it's incredibly easy. I have so many students that I show them this, and the one thing I warn them is, when I explain this, if you understand it immediately, don't question it. You understand it. Because students are always like, it can't be that easy, it can't be that simple. So they then try to make it much more complicated, and it's not. Okay, so we have 7 notes in the major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Usually we go to the 8th note, which ends up being the first note again, because I explained it like it's sort of the period at the end of a sentence. If we go da 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 and stop on 7, it sounds unfinished. Okay, so now the distances between these notes, okay, follows a pattern, and it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So what that means is whatever note you start on, you go up a whole step for the second note, a whole step from that for the third note, a half step for the fourth note, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step. So if we just make it really simple, start on C, that's usually the first one that people learn. It's all the white notes on a piano. C, we go up a whole step, it's D, a whole step, it's E, a half step, like I just explained at the piano, between E and F there is no other note, so E to F is a half step. A whole step up from F is G, a whole step up from G is A whole step up from A is B, a half step, B and C are a half step apart, so there's no note, there's no black note between them, there's no sharp or flat between them, so B to C. So we are right back where we started on C. So that is the major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you understand that, you get it. Don't overthink it. It's as simple as that. Okay? So, let's take a look at the piano again, and I'll show you exactly how it all kind of works out. Okay, back at the piano again. So if we look at it, starting on C, okay, the pattern is C is the first note, so C, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that's the C major scale. So what happens if we started on some other note? Okay, so let's start on G. Okay, G is usually the second one people learn. So it's whole, whole, half, whole, whole, whole. Okay, see where there's a problem? That's now a whole step, half. So G major scale is we need that note there, the F sharp, because between the 6th and the 7th note, it's a whole step, not a half step. And since we're not starting here, we're starting here, the pattern of whole and half steps changes. Okay, so that's G. If we started on some other note, you know, whatever, D or A or E, it would be different arrangements of whole and half steps. No, I'm sorry, the same arrangement of whole and half step, different arrangement of sharps and flats and natural notes, which are the white, not sharp or not flatted. So you'd have different patterns of white and black keys, whatever. Same with any other instrument, but on a piano, a lot of people are familiar with the piano, and it's very linear, so I like to explain it on a piano. So very linear, you know, meaning that if I just go like this, as I go to the right, each next key is the next note available in Western music, you know, broken up into half steps and everything. That's what we used to. So, hope this helps somebody. The major scale, super easy.